Welcome to Husky Talk. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I would like to thank our sponsors at Parseghian Partners. Parseghian Partners, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in wealth management, employee benefits, and retirement planning. President Schuman Rabinowitz is a proud supporter of Husky Talk. He needs our help now more than ever. His son, Ben, has leukemia, and he needs a bone marrow transplant. They're doing a bone marrow drive at UConn. If you're there, go get tested. They're going to be coming. All it is a little cheek swab. They send it in, and they test to see if you're a match. If you're not, we're going to put a link to Ben's website. You can have a kit sent to your house. And if you have family members or know people under 40, they can be tested. Same thing, quick cheek swab, you mail it back. You could be the match that saves Ben's life. That's what we want to do. Also, we have Pete Finch. Pete Finch, if you feel your rights have been violated, the Finch firm is for you. If you've been arrested, Pete Finch is based out of Bridgeport, Connecticut. And he has fought legal battles all over the state. So if you're ever in a pinch, call Finch. And Bleeding Blue for Good. Bleeding Blue for Good is our NIL collective. Right now, the transfer portal opens in a month. We need to raise money. And Mike Burton has been doing it and shouldering it with his team. By himself with really 10 other people, and they raised some money last year, and you can see the difference it made on the field. We've won 7 games. Nobody expected that. We have an opportunity to win 9 games. We're going to go bowling. So the money that we're contributing is paying off. You're seeing a difference. We have strength in numbers. Our alumni group is so strong. We just need more people to give, and then we will have a chance at success. So go to www.bleedingblueforgood.org and give. You can give to any sport, but give to football, and that'll put us on our way to meet our budget so we can keep the players that we need and bring in the players that we need to replace. So now, introducing the man of the hour, the star power, too sweet to be sour, former UConn running back, and now running 32 Sports, his company, which works with youth groups all the way up through high school athletes, boys and girls, training them for flag football and other areas. Mr. Matt Lawrence. Matthew, welcome.
Hey, it's great to be here. It's great to be on Husky Talk.
Yes. No, I've wanted to have you on for a while. You were one of my favorite players. I loved watching you. I loved watching just the running backs and the different groups.
Appreciate it.
Hodman and you of course. You just were a dynamic, explosive, incredible player and a difference maker. And I appreciated that you came to UConn. Now, are you originally from Connecticut?
Yeah, so I'm from Bloomfield. You asked me, was I from Connecticut, right?
That's what I thought, right. You were from Bloomfield because what year did you graduate?
From Bloomfield, yeah. 2003.
Yeah, you graduated because I just missed you. That's what I thought. Bloomfield is incredible. I coached at Windsor briefly. And I know Windsor was a rival of Bloomfield.
What year?
I coached in 2007, 2008.
Okay. Was Welch over there, Coach Welch?
Yeah, Tim Welch was it.
Yeah, great guy.
Nicest guy in the world.
Absolutely.
Bloomfield, we barely beat them the first year. I think we beat them like 10-7. And the defense, I was the offensive coordinator, and I had no answers. It was my first time as an offensive coordinator, and it was my first year. The Bloomfield game was, I think, like the 6th or 7th game of the season. It was a big game for us because we were going to go to the playoffs.
Right,
And
right.
so nervous because I knew it was a rivalry. I had never been to a game that packed, a high school game.
Wow. Yeah, we used to pack it out. Both of us rivals with each other. We packed it out. Everybody from everywhere would come down and just to see the talent on the field.
And like I was nervous. I was so nervous. And I remember I went up in the press box, and Bloomfield had probably 3 coaches up there, and it was
Right.
just me. I'm up there alone, and I see
We
these 3.
definitely rolled deep. We rolled
Yeah,
deep.
and these 3 guys are up there, and they know what the hell they're doing, and I'm like, I script stuff, but
Right.
I panic and I start going off script, like everything that we worked on. I just say go out the window, and I just start calling stuff off the top of my head. Like I was so inexperienced and so nervous. It was probably the most nervous I've ever been for a game was when we played Bloomfield.
It
So
happens. It happens.
yeah, I mean, I ended up coaching at the college level. I coached for 10 years between Colgate, Dartmouth, and Holy Cross.
Oh, wow.
So once I got there, looking back, then I realized, wow, you were an idiot as an offensive coordinator. Like you
Growing
had,
pains, right? So we have growing pains. Everybody starts somewhere. You have to have that first experience where you're just overwhelmed and you don't know what's going on. So it happens to us all.
but I was looking back and I was like, man, I had all this talent and I didn't get them the ball enough. Like I
Right.
just, because I was an offensive lineman, I primarily, I'm thinking run game, run game, run game. And
Hmm.
I had 3-star wide receivers. 2 of them went on to play in college, and I didn't utilize them enough. And I had 2 really good athletic quarterbacks. So, but looking back, can't go back in time. But as you said, I learned from it and I got better as I went along. So you grew up in Bloomfield, and football is huge in Bloomfield. Did you
Huge.
play from an early age on? Did you play
Yeah.
youth
Yeah.
football? Okay.
So I played youth. Yep. Youth football. Yep. Bloomfield Raiders. We went and we were good. We were good as kids. We would win championships and go undefeated and all of that jazz. And
Wow.
so, that was just the norm. That was just the standard.
It
Practice was
was.
very competitive, way harder than the games. I mean,
Yes.
we would get after it. And after youth football, I did it. Oh, I did it in the 8th grade year at my middle school, and then I came back to high school at Bloomfield High School, and I just, my middle
Okay.
school was in West Hartford, so I left my youth group, right? I left my
Yeah.
youth guys,
Yeah.
and so once I went back to Bloomfield, I just figured they would be doing the same things, winning. I had heard great things. These guys are winning over there. A coach named Jack Cochran was there, and I
He's
just
a
assumed
legend.
he's a legend, right? And so I just assumed, okay, they're winning. We've been winning since we were 9 or whatever, and we continued to win, and we won out, and we had super talent. I mean, we had 5, 6 Power 5 guys on the
Oh, I
team.
know.
I mean, you don't know, but you had 2 NFL guys playing youth football, future NFL guys, all these Power 5 talents, and we're all 10 years old, when you look back at the picture. So it was definitely a good time.
That's amazing. I didn't know you played for Jack Cochran.
Yep.
I heard I heard him speak once, but I just know he was a legend everywhere he went. And I think he won more state titles in Connecticut than any other coach in history, like everywhere he went. Um, I'm sure you know Uwe Sunday.
Yes.
Um, Uwe, Uwe coached with him at New London, I believe, when he
Mhm.
was down there. And he just said he was blown away because he ran everything. He ran offense, defense, special teams. And as a coach in my head, I'm thinking, I don't know how you could do that. Call the
He
plays on
was
offense.
locked in. Locked in. Practice, you had to be locked in during practice. You had to be locked in. I mean, practice was hard. It was the hardest thing. And the talent on the other side, I had a guy, Leo Morgan, at one linebacker at the end, and then I had a guy, Andre Smith, at the other linebacker at the end. One with the Cincinnati, one with the Buffalo. Right, my nose guard went to Maine, and you're just saying, my safety, Corey Sheets, he went to the Dolphins and the Raiders, and so when you think about, I obviously went to the Ravens, but when you think about who you're going against on a daily basis and how you're navigating them and making people miss and fine tuning your craft, this was a daily crafting at practice. Competing in what is it called? Conditioning. So you're competing against world-class sprinters, world-class athletes. You're going against each other. I mean, it was by the time the games would come, it would be a break.
The games would be easy because the guys that you're going against in practice are a lot tougher than what you're facing in the games.
I'm trying to kill you in practice. You know what I mean? And because it's what's needed. He was trying to prepare you to dominate at the next level. That's the big deal.
When you initially started, when you were playing youth football, were you always playing on the offensive side? Were you playing running back? Were you playing receiver?
Running back. I always played receiver and running back.
Yeah.
Basically interchangeable. I think I was outside linebacker, at youth football. I was big. I was tall. Eighth grade, I was backing a basketball. I was, 5'10", seventh grade, and then I stopped. I was like, oh crap! I thought I was going to the NBA, and then it was like, I'm not growing anymore. I hit high school. I stopped. I was upset, but it worked out. It worked out.
So you go to Bloomfield. Did you, as a ninth grader, did you play? Was there a freshman team or a JV team?
So I went to Avon Old Farms my freshman year.
Oh, wow! You went to Avon Old Farms. Okay.
So I went to AOF my freshman year, and then left and went to Bloomfield.
Did Bloomfield recruit you? Did they want you back, or was it a decision?
No. Yeah, I didn't even know. I heard they were good, but remember, I didn't know anything about Bloomfield High School.
Right.
Great. All I knew was they were winning championships. But we had been winning championships since 9 years old. So I just figured, my 14-year-old mind, I just figured, well, of course they're winning. Of course the guys who I played with are playing and starting because we were always good. I'm not sure why would it be different now. So when I went back to Bloomfield my sophomore year, the guys who I played with at youth ball were starting. So everybody was trying to figure out, I haven't seen Matt for 2 years. Is he still the same? Did he get worse? Because that youth football to high school transition can be rough. So, but I came kind of right back into the fold, and it was, really just picked up where we left off. So, yeah, I hadn't even. But,
no, I was just going to say, was Avon Old Farms, was that considered a prep school, a private school?
Yeah, or absolutely. Like Loomis and Cho, we played Taft and Hotchkiss. Obviously, in the 90s, it was way different than it is now. As far as the level of talent and the recruiting and the football scene, there weren't 5 Power 5 guys on one team. Yeah, how it is today. It was a lot different scene in the 90s.
And then when you were at Bloomfield, I
was with me and Tyler King were at AOF together.
You were with TK there.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. We had good times there.
I didn't know that. And TK.
Deion Anderson came the year after I left.
That's right. So
it would have been me and Deion in the backfield. Can you imagine?
Deion. Nobody made me laugh more than Deion. Deion was out of his mind, but I loved him.
Absolutely.
And I loved when he went to the Cowboys and Jerry Jones fell in love with him and was taking pictures with him. I remember posting.
How can you not?
Seeing the posted pictures of Deion because he was always a happy guy and a fun guy. Mm-hmm. But if you got him pissed off when he got angry, he got angry.
Football guy.
He would tear your head off.
Absolutely.
I would not mess with him. I would not mess with him.
Yeah, not too many is going to mess with Deion.
Yeah, that's right. Dion played in the league for a while, and
Yeah.
he wasn't the biggest fullback, but he was a fullback, and he could do it all. And
Yeah.
I know he played special teams, so I didn't know that. So you were with Dion and TK.
So I left before Dion came. I didn't realize he had went there until I got to UConn, and Tyler was like, "Oh yeah, Dion went." And I was like, "Oh man, I left. I should have stayed." You know what I mean? Freaking
Yeah,
NFL fullbacks coming.
yeah, and Tyler went, and I think Tyler came in 2000. I host another show with Tyler because he went into mixed martial arts. So we do an MMA show, and Tyler is still as crazy as ever, which is great.
Gotta love it.
Always entertaining, completely out of his mind. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. And yeah, it's crazy. He comes on the show we recorded last week, and what is he wearing? He puts the MAGA hat on. And
Right.
I'm like, Tyler, really? We're going to start with that. That's where we're going to go right with that.
You got to get it going. You can't slack off one bit. He says, "Listen, this is what we're doing today."
I said, you want to make your political statement now? Okay, go ahead.
I mean, at UConn, we were tone setters at UConn, right? I mean, every one of those guys, every one of us, we set the tone. It doesn't matter what tone. Dion set the tone. Tyler's going to set the tone. Uwe's going to set the tone. So it's that's what we are. That's who we are.
So you played at Bloomfield.
Yes.
Did you play on varsity sophomore, junior, senior year?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Came in, started right away. Receiver and free safety. Had a great time. Really wanted to play running back. There was a guy there named Richard Coombs who was lighting the state up, first team all-state running back.
I remember, yes.
I tried my best to get him, and he was like, I'll break a run, he'll break three. You know what I mean? Stamina for days, strength for days, speed, agility for days. I was like, man, this guy's out of this world. So, shout out to Rich Combs.
And those were the days where they didn't have like a running back by committee rotation type of thing. So it was like one guy. Right. So they didn't give you a ton of carries, right? Or did you?
No, I'll get 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You know how it goes, right?
Just spell them. Okay. So you were primarily playing receiver.
I was a receiver. Yep.
Okay.
Which was tough. You can play receiver, and then you got to spell Coombs. You got to go back to running back. You're like, geez, I'm tired. I'm gassed.
Well, yeah, you're running 70 yards downfield, running routes, and then you got to go back and you got to carry the ball. I can't even imagine.
That's what makes you great, though, right? That's what makes you great.
That's why I admire Deebo Samuel, because he does the same thing for the 49ers. He's got it. He does it all for him. And, they have Christian McCaffrey, but Deebo, having Christian and Deebo both being so dynamic, they're so valuable. Did you like playing defense? You said you played free safety.
Yeah, I loved it. It came natural to me. It was nice. It was easy. I ended up having more D-back offers than running back offers. So
that was the next question I was going to ask you.
The Big Ten basically was like, yes. Penn State, Michigan State, they were just like, yep, come on over. But I wanted to run the pills. But yeah, it just came. How some positions come easy,
natural to you. Yeah,
absolutely. You have to go with with what you like and what comes natural. Sometimes it's a hard decision, but
Did you obviously you were recruited because everyone came to Bloomfield to see you. Did you do the camp circuit? Did you go to camps at all after your sophomore year going into your junior year?
I didn't. I missed out. I didn't. I went to UConn camp and I went to Michigan State camp.
Those were the two camps you attended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Went to Michigan State camp. It's a funny story. Went to Michigan State camp and they don't offer me. The position coach, the DB coach, is like, I want to offer. He's arguing with forget the coach, Bobby Williams or somebody like that. I think he was the coach. And he's arguing with them, and they were like, no, they weren't high on the Northeast guys, right? No, they weren't high on the Connecticut guys. But the guy who was out there was from Trumbull, I believe, or Cheshire. And he was saying like, listen, this guy is legit. So they did
Oh my
offer me.
God.
They end up firing the guy,
Yes.
and the
Okay.
new coach comes in from like Louisville, goes over the old charts and 40 times. I had run the
Right.
fastest 40 at the camp.
At
He's
the
like, you
entire
guys didn't offer this guy? Yeah, exactly. So they offered me off of that and a little bit of tape alone. You know how that
yeah.
goes. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was like, well, duh. So that's kind of my first DB offer. Then Penn State came, and then you know how the rest goes.
What did you run the 40 in?
Like a 4.46, something like that. And
High
I was a
school.
junior.
Wow. That's amazing. Did you
They were
do
doing
track
laser
as
back then,
well?
so it was hand. Yes, I did track. One
That's
of the
what I
best
figured.
decisions that I
Yeah.
made. Shout out to Coach White at Bloomfield. I did it to. I was playing baseball, and I did it to not to get faster or anything. My friends were doing it. They were just saying, "Come on, do track," and I was like,
Yeah,
"All
it's
right, I'll come
fun.
do." And I did. I was a jumper. I was a jumper and a sprinter, obviously, but we had some dynamic sprinters. But
Did
it
you
was
do
hard.
all did they put you in 4 events? Did they get
It's
everything out of
three.
you?
So it was three then. So it
You
was
did
four
three.
by one. I did the 4x1. I did the long jump and triple jump.
Wow. Oh, so you
Yep.
were a long jumper and a triple jumper.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I had never heard of triple jump. There was a guy at Avon Old Farms named Coach Arnold, rest his soul. He said you would be a perfect triple jumper. I had no idea what it
It's
was.
so hard.
I
Yeah.
ended up placing third in New England as a freshman. I was so upset that I lost. Just in general, I don't lose and
Yeah.
all this, how we are.
Yeah. We're
Went to
competition.
Bloomfield and they were like, you do track, and I'm like, oh no, I did it, but I lost. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
realizing
You lost.
not realizing
Uh,
how it was third in New England. I lost to like a PG and a senior.
yeah. And
Um,
you're a freshman. Yeah.
and I'm just like, forget it. Played baseball. We weren't that great, and then did
Did you
track.
like baseball?
Yeah, I was a baseball guy coming up. Football,
Oh, I
baseball,
didn't know that.
basketball. You
Okay.
know, and
Baseball, were you like an outfielder?
center field, shortstop,
All
center
right.
field. Yeah, and
I didn't know you loved
so
baseball. Okay.
yeah, I was a
Um,
baseball guy. Luke
so you were
Kelly,
a
and
three-sport guy. Okay.
yeah, Luke Kelly in Hartford North End Little League. I didn't move to Bloomfield till I was in high school or eighth
Gotcha.
grade. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it was a good time. Baseball, did track and did jump, and I lost like twice in jumping for my rest of my career, my junior, my senior year. Jumping was the thing.
What leg did you run in the 4x1, and what was
Second,
your split usually?
I have no idea. I have no
Yeah, you
idea what
don't.
my split was. 10 something. You know what I mean? Like
You
we
were
ran
a
a
10.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ran 41-6. That was our 4x1. So
Okay.
we were
Yeah.
all humming pretty good.
You were moving pretty good. You were moving pretty good.
Um,
Wow, that's
we
amazing.
set state records and stuff like that for the 4x1. I mean, the anchor, the let's see, the first leg Kenny Walker, D1 sprinter, hands it off to me, the NFL running back. I hand it off to Markey. He's a D1 sprinter. He ran like, go ahead. He ran a 47 in the 400, I want to say.
Yeah,
And
that's a great time.
48 in the 400. And then he hands off to Corey Sheets, an NFL running back, right? So, we
You
were
can't get a
running
better
whatever
team
we
than
wanted
that.
to. Right.
Jeez.
So, we were just doing what we wanted on the track. We were just having fun. Kids,
Yeah, I can imagine. Track. I always. I listen. I love track too because I was just a shot putter. So all I would do was my grandmother's house was right across the street from our high school field and track. So after school, I'd go to grandma's house. I'd get a sandwich. Grandma would make me a sandwich. I'd eat my sandwich. I'd go throw the shot put 2 or 3 times, and then I'd go lift weights and leave. That's
I mean, it speaks something, right? I mean, side tangent to grandma. Like,
yeah,
think
yeah,
about grandma and like think about how macho we were, right? In high school,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
we're,
yeah,
we're freak athletes, we're tough,
yeah.
and it's like, grandma, can you make me a sandwich? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
Grandma, I need my salami sandwich, please. I got to go to
And she
practice. Can you feed
and
me?
she's like, no problem. You know what I mean?
Whatever you
It's just
need. And
whatever
then,
you need, right? The dynamic is crazy. Shout
so
out to the
then,
grandparents in the world.
So then my track coach caught on because I was always late to stretch. He caught on that I was going to Grandma's for a sandwich. He said, "You can go to Grandma's for a sandwich, but you better bring me one too." So,
Wow.
so,
Right,
so
right.
then I would start bringing him sandwiches back from Grandma's after I went.
I love
But
it.
yeah,
I love it.
I did shot, and I was third in the state my senior year.
Okay.
I
Killing
just
it.
missed. Yeah, I had a bad day. The night before, we stayed in a hotel, and we were in the pool, and I was just being stupid, and I was throwing people. Like the guys that went to state, the girls that went to state, they just
Yep.
wanted me to pick them up and throw them. So I'm throwing them, and I didn't realize I was just tiring myself out. So
Right.
I didn't hit close to my best when I threw it for the state finals, and I ended up placing third. If I hit my PR, I probably would have been. If I hit my best before, I would have placed second. But
Wow.
I always had a fun experience with it. At Bloomfield, did you guys play Weaver as well?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure
Weaver
did.
was always tough. And did you guys go to the playoffs? Did you go to states at all? Because Connecticut was tough because they relied on
Football or track?
football because of that
Yeah,
point
yeah.
system.
So my it was tough for us because we were S. So Windsor, Weaver, Connard, Hall, Simsbury. Really, you guys are all LLL.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that helped us out come playoff time because our whole season was LLL. Glastonbury. Imagine Glastonbury, Weaver, Windsor, Hall, Connard, Simsbury.
I didn't realize you were an S. Wow.
We were S with 300 boys, 350 boys. And then we come and we play all these teams. So then when we, go to the playoffs, here comes, at school with 300 boys. And that's why we just kind of steamrolled through the playoffs a lot because you just finished playing Windsor and Weaver, and then now we have to play Coggins or Seymour, who's playing their division, teams their size. And when they play us, we're just kind of battle tested.
Yeah, you were. I always thought it was strange how the point system worked. It was basically who you beat, and if you lost to a team, but that team was good and beat other teams, like that would help you. Like
right.
It would be a good
double L was tough. Windsor was double L, I believe, or L. And it was tough. You couldn't lose. You couldn't lose at all.
No. What happened? We would have made the playoffs at 8-2. We would have gotten in. What happened was there was one game that somebody went back and reported that we played a kid on kickoff at the end of the game who was technically academically ineligible.
Wow.
And nobody knew it. And so they disqualified us, and we ended up 7-3, and we missed the playoffs. And I was livid about it because we had so much talent. I thought we had a good chance to win. And then the next year they made it to the state finals, and we ended up losing. We went to the state finals in 2008, I believe, but it was a wild run. So tell me about your experience at the UConn camp.
Yeah, UConn was fun. It was fun. Yeah. They had already offered me, so I went up there with an offer. They wanted to see me in person.
But it was for defense or
no, running back. They were running back. They were like, we want you to run the ball.
So how many? I know you. When you were a senior, were you the man? Like, did you get the majority of the carries, or were you always?
I got hurt my senior year.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Well, I played 8 games. I think 8 games.
And how many yards rushing would you say you had?
I think 1,000. 8 games.
Oh, so you put up numbers. Okay. So that's why. I mean, you were splitting time and you were still putting up numbers.
I mean, junior year, and that was the thing. There was no fall off. And you got Corey Sheets, who, he's an NFL guy too. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. Like,
And so you have, let's see. So my junior year was my big year.
okay.
That was I
And
was
that
the
was the
main
most
guy.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I think I started after week
Yeah.
two or week three. I got my start, and and I was the between 10 and 15 carries a game. That was because Jason Manson was the best thing since sliced bread, and he was a quarterback. Shout out to Jason, he's coaching at
Yeah.
Iowa. He,
Iowa. Yeah.
I mean, he could throw the ball and put the ball everywhere he wanted.
Yeah.
Andrew Wilson, we had Andre, we had guys we had D1, a D1 receiving core. So,
Yeah.
he's going to light it up for 400 yards a game. So Matt will get
Yeah.
the ball 10 times and 15 times a game if we can make it to the end of the game. So, right,
Yeah.
a lot of the times we're
Because you
not
were
making it.
scoring. Yeah.
Correct. So I think I finished with about 2,000 yards. I had like 120 carries.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but you had to. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're not. You better score, because if you don't score, the next man is. So whoever
Yeah.
gets there first gets there first. We're gonna come out at halftime anyway. So yeah, you guys got 30 minutes. You know what I mean, to get it done.
Yeah, because it's not like you're having 10, 15 play drives. You're having like
No,
5 play
no.
drives. You're moving the ball down.
It's kind of like roulette. Who's good? Like, we're gonna try Matt. All right, you
Yeah.
scored. Hey, you broke it 40 yards. We're gonna play action to Andrew Wilson, and he's first team out. He's gonna
And he's going
catch
to
it
get
over
it up.
somebody and score. And so you're
Yeah.
just like, dang, I blew my opportunity. Now, how many drives do you have left? God forbid the other two
That's
ones
that's really
yeah.
how you were thinking. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Because
You were that good.
God forbid the team runs a wing T and they're gonna milk the clock. So
I know. And then
if
you
they
lose possession. Yeah.
now they're gonna milk that, and God forbid they get 2-3 first downs. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
now you're not getting the ball
Now
back,
you're
and now
living. Yeah.
yep, now you're steaming hot. So it's
That's
craziness, crazy good
crazy. That is
times.
crazy. Wow. You guys were so talented. So you go to UConn. They had already offered you. I mean, we were the first school in the Northeast to actually end up with an indoor facility that came in 2006, I think. So what sold you on UConn to
Staying
commit
home,
there?
staying home.
You like being home. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
staying home, right here in the community that raised me, right here in the
Good
community that
school.
supported me, to make sure, give a shining light to everyone and let everyone know, hey, this is what hard work and dedication gets you.
And being a role model, that was very important to you, and it's good that you did that, because that showed the other kids that, listen, this is possible. You can get here.
Yeah.
You can get there. That's really, really remarkable that you did that. And I know Chris Bellamy did that. And Randy was never huge on recruiting in-state kids. We missed
Right.
on. He didn't always go after a lot of them, and
Right.
we should have taken better care of our own state. But getting Dan, getting Chris, getting you, that definitely made a huge, huge difference and a huge impact. So you came in. Did you commit on your visit, or did you commit at camp? When did you commit to UConn?
Right after, well, I think a month after the visit or something like that.
You did. Okay. So did you take your visit in the winter or the fall?
Shoot, I think it was the fall. To be honest, I can't even remember. I think it went to a game. It was a game weekend or something like that.
That's probably what they did.
Yeah.
Because they would want to get you early, so they bring you out to
It's
a
crazy
game.
how the time goes. I'm like, wow, 20 years ago.
No, it didn't. Believe me, it didn't. Listen,
Yeah,
dude,
absolutely.
I committed to UConn without even visiting.
Yeah,
That's how
I hear
crazy
you.
I was. I wanted to play at the best football school, and I had FCS offers, but the only 1A offers I had were Rutgers and Buffalo. Rutgers had just gotten beat by Syracuse. This was in 1999, which shows my age, but they got beat 70 to like 10 by Syracuse. So I crossed Rutgers off the list. Buffalo was a quote unquote dumpster fire, so I crossed them off the list. UConn was supposed to be going into the Big East and 1A and all that, and I was like,
all that jazz, right?
I want to be a part of it. And I committed without even visiting, and I committed after the coach that recruited me left. I was recruited by Skip Holtz, and Skip
Wow.
left. And
You
then
went down to South Carolina.
yeah, he went to South Carolina, and then
Then he recruited me.
Oh, he did.
He was like, "Hey, come down. Come down to South Carolina because Pinnock was down there. Pinnock was down in South Carolina. He was like, listen, Pinnock's down here. And here's the whole Bloomfield legacy thing. Our strength and conditioning coach at Bloomfield got the job at South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
People don't know that. They're like, "Where's the connection?" How are you being? We're super strong. Yeah, the head of strength and conditioning was our head of strength and conditioning at Bloomfield, and so then we were just taking all the Bloomfield kids and going to South Carolina, and so yeah,
That's
he was
amazing.
like, "Come on down here to Columbia." So yep, but yeah,
that's crazy. That is so crazy. Yeah, because Skip left, and then I'm like, well, do I still have an offer? And are the assistant coaches going to be there? Now, being dumb and naive, I'm thinking, yeah, it's just going to be the same staff with a new head coach. And they're like, yeah, well, we're here. So I'm like, okay, I commit. And then everyone gets fired.
We're here.
Yeah, then everyone gets fired. And right. And then come to find out, Coach Edsel went into like several of the kids who were committed to their houses. Like, I can't even imagine getting a home visit from Coach Edsel. He comes, he sits down. He's like, listen, I have to honor your scholarship, but you're not going to see the field. You're probably going to be on the scout team for 4 years. And it may be best for you to look at other options. And he was doing that. And I was shocked. And I was always surprised that he kept me, but he kept me. I was one of the few that he kept.
You were a guy. You were a stud.
No, I wasn't a stud. I was good at getting in the way. I could get in the way. Okay. But yeah, so I ended up staying with Randy, and I think we had a smaller class. We had like 12 or 15, but we were okay. And then you guys came in. Now, did you redshirt in 03 or did you play?
No, Cully got hurt. Remember Terry tore his knee
at Virginia Tech. That's right.
Yep. So then I went in, and then that was my shirt. I was redshirting, but then that was my shirt. So
that's right. That's right. It was, and that's when they moved Bellamy back to running back. Correct.
Yep. So it was me, Brockington, Bellamy doing our thing.
Yes. You were the three-headed monster, and that year was, I mean, so unbelievable. You were 9-3. You just beat the crap out of everyone. You did it all on offense. I mean,
and we had some talent. Yeah, absolutely. We had some talent. Yep. Same thing. Sophomore year, we were running the table, doing well. It was a good time. We went to the Motor City Bowl.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you go to because I was there, the game that you were honored at? The Motor City Bowl?
Yep, I was there. It was a good time seeing the guys back here. It was amazing. I had to make it back, to celebrate the first bowl game. I mean, it's an honor and a privilege to be the first. Right. A year after, the year after we opened the stadium in 03 with Indiana, the next year we go to a bowl game. I mean, we were 45. I forget how many people would fit in the state, 45,000 or something like that.
It was 40. It was 40,000, and then it could have been expanded to 60, but they always get off on doing it.
So 40,000 sold out every game. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
It was. That time. It was such a good run, and I remember we went and watched you. We were so proud of the way you guys played, and so proud of how well you did. Because it just made like everything we went through, because we took our thumps, and then you guys laid the pavement for sure for us. We were the foundation, and then we put it together finally in 2002, where we had a good year and we had a nice run where we beat Iowa State, who was ranked.
That was huge.
We beat Navy. Navy was undefeated. Those were key wins. And then you guys took the ball from there and went to the next level. Joined the Big East early. Had a great year. I think you went 8-4. And then the Motor City Bowl was just incredible. He just took it to Toledo. And I can't remember who it was who told me who was telling me a story about it, that there was like a brunch pregame or during the week where you guys ate together, and like there was almost a fight that broke out during the breakfast or brunch, and like Coach Edsel stood up and was talking smack, and like you guys were so happy to see him like stick up for you, and you're like, yeah, we're backing our head coach. Do you recall
Listen,
that?
I don't. I remember at a bowling alley. It was at a bowling alley.
Okay,
we went to a team bowling alley, and it was intense. And it started over like, who's the best bowler. I mean, football guys will find anything to argue about. Like, you can't hit 4 strikes. I can hit 4 strikes. Well, bet your I don't know, or your digital camera. We were getting the digital cameras at the bowl game.
Yeah, those were your gifts.
Bet your digital camera, right? And people are losing digital cameras. It was all type of stuff. It was just nuts. Pandemonium.
I loved it. A funny story was I drove with Uwe to the game, and we cut through Canada to get there. Okay. Yep. Now I had a full beard, and I'm with Uwe. I'm Lebanese. I look like a terrorist, and Uwe doesn't have a passport. He has his driver's license. I had my passport. Uwe gives him the driver's license. So now Uwe was on the Bills at the time. So they were just asking us questions, and it was like I said, this is Uwe. He plays for the Buffalo Bills. And apparently at Customs, they had a roster of who played for the Bills. And they were looking at the roster, and they didn't see him on the roster. And it was because he was on the practice squad. So, and then there's me, who has the dark hair, the beard. I look like a terrorist. They're like, you guys got to pull over to the side. I'm like, oh.
And what year was this?
This was going to the Motor City Bowl. We were driving to watch you guys.
04. See?
So, right. Yeah, right after 9/11, all that. So we're sitting there. We're literally in this dark garage. It's just the two of us in this car. It's dark all around us. And like, we're scared. We're nervous as hell. And it all started because I look like a terrorist, and they were asking Uwe why he didn't have his passport. And then they asked him where you get a passport. And I think he didn't know the answer, or he said like the government building. And they're like, no, you go to the post office. And he like argued with the lady over it. He's like, no, you just go to the post office, don't you? And that caused this. So we're sitting in this garage, and it's hilarious. We're there for an hour. This guy, this like detective, comes walking out like you see in the movies with a flashlight, and he shines it on us. He's like, well, boys, we ran background checks on you guys. Just so you know, I could keep you here as long as I want, and this could be a huge process. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let you go. So he let us go, and we went all the way to Detroit. I just thought it was hilarious that we got stopped. And then on the way back, it was just yes sir, no sir. We're coming back from the game, and we went.
Listen, that's wild. That's the story for the books. I can't even imagine that happening.
Yeah, it happened. Well, the thing is, if you ever talk to Uwe, the only interactions that he's had with law enforcement, he's been with me because of something I've done. Another quick story. We went on spring break, but we didn't have anyone old enough to rent a car. So we had a friend of ours rent a car for us. All right, but he didn't come on the trip, and the car technically wasn't supposed to go out of New England. So we went down. We stopped to see various friends at other colleges, and we made our way down to Myrtle Beach. So Uwe is driving down at Myrtle Beach, and jokingly, I tell him, Yeah, in South Carolina, you can take a left on red. So he, of course, takes a left on red, thinking that I'm serious, gets pulled over. The cop, the cop asks license and registration. We gives it to him, and he's looking at it. He's like, so which one of you is Chris Hill? And Chris Hill was the guy that rented us the car. And Uwe just look is silent. He just looks over at me, and I'm looking at him. And I'm like, he's back at the hotel. We just ran out to get something to eat. So he asked Uwe to step out of the car. Right. And Uwe gets out of the car, and he's got his hands in his pockets. He's like, sir, take your hand out of your pockets. He takes his hand out of his pockets, and on his driver's license, his full name is Pennsylvania. They put the middle name first, the first name second, and then the last name. Well, I can't pronounce it. His middle name was like Endo Gosamo or Endo something Ui Gosamo a Sunday. So the cop is trying to run his license, and the cop must have been misspelling his name because he kept getting it. He was he took it back. He was trying to run his license, and it kept coming back wrong. Like this person doesn't exist. So he thought it was like a fake ID. So finally, he got a call from dispatch that said that it was okay. He's like, you guys just get the hell out of here. Make sure Chris Hill drives the car. Meanwhile, Chris Hill's in Connecticut.
He's in Connecticut hanging out. Wow.
Yeah, Chris Hill's in Connecticut. And Uwe's like, what the hell? He's like, I can't go anywhere with you. I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, I bet. It's rough. It's rough sometimes. Hey, we get it. We get into trouble, but, we never mean it.
I was just messing with him. I really didn't mean it. I felt horrible after that, but we had a good time. So, I mean, you had just an outstanding career at UConn. Was T. Rich there with you the whole time?
Yep, T. Rich was there. Yep, T. Rich was there.
The man, right?
Yeah, he's the man. He made things so much easier. Yeah, he made it easier, super easy.
And you had Norris. Norris was there.
Yep. So he ended up, did he come? I'm trying to think.
He went to Columbia in 2006.
Yep. But did he go to
Rutgers?
I know he might have visited Towson because Ambrose went down to Towson.
Yeah, Rob took the head job at Towson.
He's from, and I'm here in Baltimore, so it was great seeing him, meeting him.
Yeah. He was great at Towson. I remember we played against him when I was at Holy Cross. He was one of my favorite coaches. So you guys had such a great coaching staff.
Good man, good leadership.
So were you part 2003, 2004, 2005? So 2006 was your last year. That was the year. Was DJ the quarterback?
So DJ was there when his freshman year. I ended up transferring out of UConn.
Right.
So
right.
I went, and that was 05, 04.
Okay.
We were studying. We had Brockington, Bellamy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I got to dip because I'm trying to get to the NFL, and these guys are nasty. So, and they're probably going to go. You know what I mean? So they were older than me, and I would end up waiting my turn.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? All the way to your chips roll in the last year. God forbid you don't get hurt. So I ended up going to UMass. Yep, and finish out over there.
UMass was unbelievable. I remember when they had Marcel Shipp, and they were just dominant. How did you like UMass?
UMass was good.
And you put up big numbers there.
Yeah, so I went over there, and we had a guy. Let's see, are you from Connecticut?
No, I'm a New York guy.
All right, so let me see. We had a guy, Shannon James. He was leading our defense. He was from Stamford, Connecticut.
Yes.
Yep. So no, it was a good time. UMass was amazing. We came, we bowled. We went to the national championship for FCS. We had a lot of guys. a lot of guys, a lot of transfers. You make the team that you want. You know what I mean? And
Who,
especially
who
with the
was your
transfers.
Who was your head coach at the time there?
Don Brown, the same guy that
It
is
was
now.
John Brown.
Yep,
That's
Donnie
right.
B. Man, what a great coach. What a great guy. He's stands up for his kids. Runs a great
Yeah.
organization. Runs a great program.
Yeah, I heard so many good things about him, and he was a
Yep,
great
yep,
defensive
yep.
coordinator, great defensive mind, and I'm glad
Sure.
that he's still in it and he hasn't stepped back.
Yeah.
So right afterwards, did you start looking for an agent, or were agents seeking you out?
Right. So I'm kind of like, I didn't know the process. I didn't have anybody to help me with the agent process. So,
Yeah.
I got an agent, came, after my senior year, and, it was pretty easy, signed, sealed, and delivered. You know what I mean? And we
And
started the process. We went to Indianapolis to train, and
oh,
it's all, yeah, with the Indy St. Vincent Sports Performance in Indianapolis.
oh wow.
Great guy named Ralph Reef was running it, and he got us together.
So he put you right up and got you going right
Yes,
away.
yeah, right away. I had a great senior year. Ran for
Yes.
1,500 yards. Had a great senior year, and then yeah, we went to train 6 weeks in Indy, and it was time to get after it. I didn't get a combine invite. I didn't
I
get a
know
Senior
that.
Bowl invite. I didn't get any All Star invites at
I know
all. So
that. I
I had
I
to
know
had to
that.
get it. Get it.
Did you have to do did you do a pro day at UMass, or did you go to
So
other
so
schools for
here's how
pro
so
days?
here's the real tea how it worked. So if you're at an FCS school, at least back 20 years ago or 15 years ago, when you're at FCS school, you can automatically go to the FBS school in your state,
Your
as long
state.
as in the state that the school is in, as long as the coach says yes. So I went to let's see, I went to BC. That was
Figured.
first.
Yeah.
Went to BC, and that was the year Matt Ryan was coming out.
Matty Ice. Yeah.
So Matt Ryan was coming out. We lost to them by 7
Yeah.
that year, and all 32 teams were there. So I ended up running like a 4.4, did really great there. And they were like, well, who the heck is this? Like,
Yeah.
where are you from? UMass, and here's my height, weight, numbers, and they don't know. You look kids up. They look me up. He did pretty decent. Let's see how he looks good. Da 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 da. Who's your agent? Call your agent. All that stuff. So I went there, and then that's where the buzz started. So
Yeah.
then when I had the UMass Pro Day after, we had more teams show up, and things
They
started to
wanted to
crank up
work you
a
out.
lot.
Right.
And so I ended up, after that, trained in, went back to train a little bit more. Draft came. The draft is wild. Teams will call you and not draft you, and they'll tell you you're going next. So there's a lot of emotional roller coasters. You have your dream in the palm of your hand, then you
Are
don't.
you serious? So they'll
Yeah,
call and
yeah.
say, "Hey, we're going with you next," and then
Hey, here's what I got from multiple teams. Hey, we're thinking about taking you next. You're gonna be our guy. You're gonna be our guy. Like very strong words, and you're just like,
oh
great.
my
You're
God.
relieved, and then you see somebody else's name across the ticker.
Kicker.
So fifth round, sixth round, and seventh round, I got calls from multiple clubs, and all nothing. And then after the draft, I think either late that night or the next morning, the Bears picked me up and went out there with Lovie Smith. Had a great time out there. Rookie mini camp was amazing. Went to rookie mini camp, and rookie mini camp's crazy. You go out there and they bring you in a room and 60 guys who they've all told, yeah, we're gonna sign you. And then the scout comes in, he's like, hey, we're keeping 10 of you guys. You're just sitting there saying, keeping 10, hands on your head, keeping 10 guys. And you get the anxiety, and you got to learn the different plays, and so you're competing against other guys, all Americans from around the country. And I
Yeah.
remember
That's
great friend of mine, Nick Hill, who coaches the Salukis right now, Southern Illinois.
Southern
Um,
Illinois. Yeah.
he was the quarterback, and I remember, Coach, we're doing one-on-ones. Coach gives me like a flat out of the backfield, and I'm like, I can't show anything off of a flat. And so I tell Nick, I'm like, hey, Nick, this is the route we're going to run. So and that's a freaking no, right? You don't do that. You listen to the coach. But I figured I was cut anyway. You know what I mean? Like if I continue this path, I'm cut anyway. So
Yeah.
we do this route, this shake route or whatever, and I shook the linebacker and score a touchdown. Crowd goes wild. Anyway, long story short, make the rookie mini camp, make the next round, and you go to
Yeah.
regular mini camp. You make
Yeah.
that, so now I'm good. I've made the 80 that they're gonna bring to camp.
Wow. So you had to start from basically the tryout period to
Hmm.
get to the mini camp to get to the training camp.
Yeah, I didn't know when they tell you they're gonna sign you. I'm just thinking, oh great, I get to go to camp, and it's not like that. You got to go through
No,
rookie mini
no.
camp, and you got to go through all
Right.
this stuff that they didn't say. And they're saying, oh, we're only gonna keep so and so. I'm like, there's a locker room full of rookies here. It's not like it's not
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. It's not like it's a few or
Yeah.
it's 15 and we're keeping half, or it's 50 to 40 dudes. Like it's a lot of people. So time passes, competing in camp. They drafted Forte, and they had Cedric Benson was there,
Yep.
and
Yep. From the Colts.
Adrian
Yep.
Adrian Peterson from Georgia Southern
Right. Right.
was there, and so they ended up cutting me in camp, and so I was back home at Bloomfield, working out, staying in shape until I got my next call, which was Seattle.
Right.
Yep. So Seattle
That,
called me.
that's so tough. That's so tough. And
The grind,
that's
baby.
why I think it's like now, like I played in NFL Europe when NFL Europe was
Mhm.
big, and not having a developmental league, I just think it's terrible because kids, if they get cut, they don't have anywhere else to go. And they, like you, they have to go home, they train, and they got to wait for their next opportunity. Their
Yeah,
agents got to get them workouts. They got
yeah.
to wait for the call. And it's very, very stressful.
And if
And
there's spectacular talent that gets cut,
well, that's the thing. I personally believe, and I had this argument with one of my other co-hosts last night. I personally believe there's enough talent from college and guys that aren't playing that they could support 40 NFL teams. I think there's enough talent
yeah,
for that.
there's a lot.
I
There's a
really,
ton. Yeah,
really
there's a
do.
ton of talent. There is. There's
They
a
just
ton,
don't get
ton,
they
ton.
don't get reps. They don't get reps or opportunities.
You know, you'll get a
And that's
guy,
the
and
thing.
yeah, he won't. He'll get sent home, especially
Yeah.
camp. I mean, if you don't make a scene in camp, or if you don't do anything, you'll get sent home. He just didn't
Yeah.
do anything. Well, you gave him 3 reps.
Yeah.
That's
That's all
why
you
I had to change a play, and and all this just to say, hey, listen, I'm just as good as the next guy. So
yeah.
let's pay attention here. Like so, don't write me off by giving me a play that I won't get seen. And
There's nothing
I
you can
got yelled
do.
at.
Yeah.
I got yelled at, but at the end of the day, I was going home anyway.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
going home, so I might as well
Yeah.
try to figure something out. So, but no,
Did
it was great.
did you get in any preseason games in Chicago? Did they give you
So
any
no,
reps?
they come me the night before the first
Oh,
preseason game. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You walk through my family's. I'm like, wait, don't come out yet because I don't
yeah.
know because they're cutting guys. And
Yeah.
so the night before they cut me, and and they're like, boom, it's boom. All my family's out there, so it's crazy. And after that, I was home. Let's see, this is August. I was home for a month until Seattle calls, week 2 or 3, and I'm out in Seattle. And I
Yeah.
had to compete against the top. You know how it is, the
Yeah.
top tailbacks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Of
I
course.
wild story, more wildness. We go out there, we compete. Holmgren's the coach after he left Green Bay,
Correct.
right? Holmgren's the coach. He's like, all right, compete. I'm like, okay, like that's standard. We all compete. Top tailbacks, biggest back in the ACC at that time, and who else? The one All American from Delaware was there. Joe Flacco's tailback, right at Delaware. We're all competing.
Was that when Sean Alexander was there too?
No,
Or
who
no?
was there? Julius Jones after he left Dallas.
Oh, Julius Jones, right. Okay.
OG TJ Duckett was out there.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I
caught
heard
him at the
stories
end,
about
right?
him. He's a beast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he is. Schmidt from the Slater, West Virginia days. He was out there, the
He
fullback.
was there
Um,
too.
yep. And so
Wow.
I'm here. I am. They're like, compete for the practice squad job. All right, bet. We're competing. Practice is over. They send us all home.
All of you. They didn't keep one back?
They didn't keep one back. Halfway to the airport, Scout gets a phone call. Hey, send the Lawrence kid back.
Oh my God.
This is the type of games.
That's
so right. So this is that's the deal. So now I'm turning around, headed back to the facility, suiting up. Now I'm on the team. I was out there for 10 days.
Yeah.
Right? Good. They cut me for a guy, Justin Forsett.
Right. Wake Forest.
Great. Was he Wake Forest? No. Forsett went to
Cal.
Yeah. So he's another good friend of mine. They cut him. I think they drafted him.
I think they did too.
They cut him. Indy picked him up. Indy cut him. They wanted him back. They cut me, brought him back in. So now I'm back in Bloomfield, hanging out. Yeah. Staying in shape. Ravens call me in the middle of the night, make the practice squad. The rest is history. I can't get cut again. This is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So all of that to say, you bounce around, stay focused, don't get discouraged.
Yeah, it's a tough life, and NFL coaches, GMs, they don't view players like as people. Like they're playing checkers. Like it's just, hey, get on a plane, get out here. Hey, get on a plane, get out here. Hey, just compete and we'll figure it out. They don't treat you like people. Like you have to move your whole life out to Seattle. Like you got to pack and go out there.
Find a job and what is it called? Yeah. You find not job. Well, you give your job that you don't have stubs and how do you rent an apartment and you got to put the security deposit down for 10 days. You don't get that stuff back, right? So it's not you got to pay everything up front. So when you're off the street, you know what I mean? They were paying $490 a week in Chicago, for the undrafted for everybody because it's preseason.
Right.
They give you housing, and they give you a little bit of money, and that was it. This is 08, it's not 1958. $490, right, a week. So I don't have a ton of money to be putting on down payment, not down, but security deposit on apartments in Seattle, which was crazy expensive.
Very expensive housing.
Wild time. So it was wild.
Yeah. And that's just how it is. And that's the expectations. And I mean, I know now they'll at least try. It's different because the practice squad's bigger. I think it's 12 or 16 that they're allowed to carry. So
they can carry vets.
They put vets on. I don't think they limit it as much anymore. Before it was like 2 years you could be on the practice squad.
2 years.
That's it. Right. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I went through the same thing. I mean, I played 2 years in NFL Europe. I played up in Canada and I played arena ball. And it's just like, you get a phone call and it's like, hey, you're going to NFL Europe. You pack your bags. I had everyone laughed at me because we had training camp for NFL Europe down in Tampa. And I showed up with like 2 small suitcases. And they're like, this is all you have? I'm like, well, I'm not, I don't know if I'm going to make the team or not. I'm not going to bring my whole life. It's like, I'm afraid.
Listen, I moved out to Baltimore and Seattle and Chicago. Since I'm here in Baltimore, I had a duffel bag, right? So I had a duffel bag. I had, a pair of workout clothes, sneakers, and jeans in the polo. That's it. And then that was all she wrote. And so now, I'm living down here, house, kids, family. It's just amazing. You come down with absolutely nothing. You make a way. You make, barely any money.
No, I know.
It's something else.
And it's crazy because then I ended up making the team and everyone laughed at me because I'm going to Germany with these 2 little duffel bags. And they're like, that's what you're like. I'm like, hey, I'll figure it out as I go. And then you get a call. Hey, you're going to the CFL. I am. Like, Edmonton just called you. Edmonton? Isn't that on like the West Coast? They're like, yeah. I'm like, and then I look on the map, it couldn't be further away. And I remember they were cheap as hell. So I had like 3 connecting flights. I flew from Syracuse to Detroit to Minnesota to Edmonton. And that's how long it took me to get there. And then you're in Edmonton. And then, then I played arena ball. And it's like I got a call, hey, the New York Dragons, they want to work you out. Go down there for a workout, make the team, play there. It's just, and then you get tired of the life, and it wears on you. And then
it's a grind.
Into coaching. So you went through it, and then football is our identity, and it's always difficult to make that transition when you got to go from that into the real world. For me, I delayed it by going into coaching. Was it a difficult transition for you? And what did you do right after you stopped playing, would you say?
Yeah, so I got injured. I had a crazy traumatic brain injury. So I had a TBI. So I called it quits.
My God.
So
I'm sorry.
I had to make that decision quick. And so I was like, listen, I'm not playing. I'm not going to do this anymore. This part is over. So I went and did rehab for years and years and years. And after the rehab, it's I wanted to really give back to my community and make sure that people all over the world, can feel better. You know what I mean? As far as, mentally, emotionally, and athletically. But I couldn't do a ton of work myself. And so, my brother, he was, James, he's a freaking beast, a master's in athletic administration. His work ethic is none other. We started 32 Sports.
Right. 32 Sports.
And he, he's the executive director, and I give my input on that. And he just kind of, we have the same mission, same value, and we get after it. And so we kind of, with the spirit that of hard work and perseverance that we all went through as athletes, we want to support other athletes who are younger, who don't know anything about the grind. And so I would hate for someone to learn on a dirt doing it like we did. When I could just say, hey, listen, I know they're signing you after the draft, but here's how it's really gonna go. I know that they're flying you into a workout, but here's how it's really
gonna happen.
I know they told you're a 4th round draft pick and you just got all this money, but here's how they'll cut you still.
Yeah.
Right. I know you're a 1st round draft pick and you're coming around for your 2nd contract and you had that injury. This is how the team doctors are really going to play it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Here's how in high school, I know you're struggling in high school with playing time. Here's why you are or not playing. I know you want a scholarship, and here's why.
So you really consult and advise all the way up, from NFL guys, from guys in the league, guys going to college, to high school, to youth kids. That's so impressive.
To vocabulary tests. I have a vocab test tomorrow, and I'm nervous. I'm 11. I'm 10 years old, and I don't know how. So I'll get a call from a mom and be like,
amazing.
Right. So that is the full gamut, and James really runs that thing to death, and the goal is, or the mission, bridging the gap between pro athletes and youth. Period. Right. Bridging that gap.
That's a great
all of us who are on the couch, who are doing what we're doing, and who are struggling in that transition, that 1 year, 2 years after, I say, hey, get off the couch. Let's go to where you're from. You're from so-and-so. Fly here to Connecticut. We're having a camp. We're having a clinic.
Yes.
Hop on a Zoom. Tell your story, because everybody who's in high school, they don't know what college is like.
No, they don't.
Tell them what it feels like when they're the best thing in Rivals camp. You're all-American at Rivals, 4-star, 3-star. You're the best, and now you're not going to play for 2 years.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How are you going to deal with that? Some guys are the best and can't mentally deal with it, so they never play.
Yeah.
Now you never play.
We got to have you on Bellamy's show. Bellamy and I started a show. It's called Husky's Health. And it focuses on mental health and the pressures and stress that kids face nowadays because NIL money, the transfer portal, unrealistic expectations. and mental health gets ignored, and there's a stigma behind it. And Bellamy's big thing is it's okay that you're not okay, and
Yeah, you got to get.
can ask for help.
We get help in everything else.
Yeah,
right.
we do.
We go over to CPIA, don't we? Right. We get help in everything else. So this is what we need. Right. So
we go see Ellen and Vernon
and get us right. So we need to make sure that our mental health, that's the only thing that matters. I mean, I mean, there's going to be so much more in the difficulty category that's going to come as your
in life,
careers, life, post NFL, before. I mean, there's so many kids who just don't know. And you say, hey, listen, most kids are going to stress over this. You should not. Here's why. I went through it. Let me make a phone call. He's going to hop on a Zoom in a second. He went through it. He went through it. He went through it. You're in a room where everyone has went through it.
So you had a TBI, and you said you had rehab and recovery from it. Was it like a TBI where you had to relearn like everything, like speaking?
No. It wasn't. No.
Okay.
It wasn't that. We've all seen some instances like that, but
yeah. I was just curious because there's a guy that I talked to and work with, played with, Warren Spivey. He has a company down in Manhattan called Midtown Biohack, and they work with players, athletes. His mission is somewhat like yours. They try to bridge the locker room to the boardroom because they work with athletes and CEOs, and they try to be proactive about their health, and they try to turn back the clock. Any injuries that you've had, any brain injuries that you've had, they work with you, and they make sure like they change your life, and they reverse time. They make you feel so much better. The different treatment options they have, and all you need is like once a week, 20 minutes. They work with you, and you feel so much better.
Man, shout out to him, then. Keep doing good work, Spivey. Keep it up.
Well, I'll put you in contact with him, because if you ever want help, or if you ever want to go down and see the lab that they have, they would blow you away, the stuff that they do. And I'll definitely connect you with Carl Bond, because I think that you guys could work together because you're doing such great work for the community and giving back. And then Bellamy, our show, A Husky's Health. We got to have you on as a guest, because
I'll come on for sure.
You get it. You understand what it takes, and you understand the mental toll that it takes on athletes at all levels.
It's huge. I mean, you got kids struggling now. I mean, high school. I mean, you got elementary, middle. They just don't know. And then that's the beauty about 32. When they come, they come on board, and it's kind of like, oh wow. Yeah, like I went to the NFL, right? I was one of the best football players in the world, right? 1%. If you go to college, you're one of the best football players in the world. Only 1% though, right?
So 1%,
right? Exactly. So and who lasts, all these different stats of how long you last, you get all these percentages. But the point is, right? There's an extreme amount of mental pressure here.
Yeah.
And I tell people, listen, I went to the top. Okay, good for me, but I'm done now. And I know what everyone went through. So forgive me for not putting so much pressure on these 14-year-olds, on these 16-year-olds.
Yeah,
like they're like, you have a youth coach screaming, and I'm like, bro,
God, it drives me nuts to see that.
I'm like, they're not going to the league. I said, I was great. I barely made it. Like, I got cut so much and still made it longer than the average. And there's dude, I've seen guys get. My buddy of mine, he's hard worker, never played a down of college football, played college basketball, ended up playing 2 years practice squad. Remember, if you don't make it that third year in camp, you're done. Well, guess what? He was done. Went home on the street, got picked up by a team, played 7 years in the league after that.
That's a story.
That's a story. For a Hall of Fame quarterback, Peyton Manning.
Wow.
You understand? Like The road is long, and we can't get caught up on the day to day, or even on the year to year, because you'll write yourself off.
You
And
will.
meanwhile, you have this whole his whole career for Hall of
Yeah.
Fame. That's his value. And one of our missions at 32, or our slogans, go where you're valued. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
mean quit because things get hard. It means a person has to value you in order for you to stay there. And if they don't value you, how can you stay in any circumstance that people don't value you? It matters. You matter, and you have to do what's best for you and your mental health. It doesn't
That's
mean
such
quit
a
when
great
times get
mentality.
hard. Let's not
Yeah.
right. Let's not confuse that. But you have to go where you're valued so you can learn how to treat yourself, because no one else is going to treat you like you treat you, right? Don't make
Exactly.
excuses for yourself. Do what's right, work hard, pay attention to detail. And if you're doing those things and they're still not valuing you, they're writing you off, you got to go to a different situation, whether it's football, relationships, friendships, whatever.
That is an incredible philosophy to have, and 100% right. And value in yourself and value from other people, you have to take account of that. And it makes all the difference in the world. And if you're not understanding that, you're missing out. And it's good that you're preaching that. It's good that you're teaching kids on all levels these very, very important lessons. And it's good that you've experienced it all yourself. There's nothing you haven't seen.
Right, right,
You
right.
know, you
I've
know.
seen, yeah, from 9U to 39U. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a great time. It's a great time, and it's so good to help
It's
the kids
rewarding.
see,
It's so
yeah,
rewarding.
the
And I'm so
transition to the
happy that
next
you're
steps.
doing it. I'm so
Oh,
happy
thank
that
you,
you're
thank
doing
you.
it and that you're the right person for the job.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, thank you.
so I will definitely put you in touch with Carl Bond, because there's got to be a way you guys can work together or have camps together. I'm excited. I'm going to help you and Julius promote that camp on April 25th. I think that's going to
Yep,
be
yep, yep.
huge.
Gonna be
I'm trying to get
huge.
Andre Dixon involved in what as well. He's got a big facility. He's got kids. So I think you could have something really special. And
Andre's doing a
Connecticut
terrific
needs that.
job.
But
They do.
Connecticut needs it. Connecticut needs
Yeah,
people like you and Andre and Carl who are working with these young kids and showing them the right way to do things. And that makes
absolutely.
it's great that you're doing it. And that camp on the 25th could really be something special. And I'm
Look,
hoping.
we rent out Rentschler Field every year, and we do a girls flag football college showcase.
Oh
Last
my
year,
God.
last year, two girls got scholarships
Got
who
scholarships
attended
from you guys.
our college showcase. So we rent out the rent. Why not? Girls coming
That's
from all over
amazing.
New England.
That's
Create a
amazing.
platform. Create a platform, because girls need it now. Girls flag football is the fastest growing sport in
It
America,
is.
and we're on it. And we're on it right now, and we're making sure girls are seen and they're getting scholarships, right? So that'll pave the way for other people and organizations to feel strong enough and confident enough to put their girls out there for them to get scholarships. You just got to
Yeah.
shine the light and move out of the way, you know?
Yeah. So that's phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. And I'll definitely put you in touch with Carl. And I'm glad that you're doing all this work. Quickly, I just want to get your thoughts. UConn football this season.
Mhm.
What do you
Yeah,
think? What do
listen,
you think of the team? 7 wins, 7-3. Not the prettiest of wins.
it to
Don't know
me,
about the quarterback position, but 7-3,
what was our record last year?
3-9.
Okay, that's the point,
I
right?
can't complain.
Right? How 3-9 or 7-3? We did a turnaround like no other. It's
Yeah.
commitment to the offseason. It's the players' commitment to themselves and to each
Yep.
other. It's the camaraderie.
Correct.
I mean, it's building a good, solid foundation so where people can win. I mean, I love it. So whatever we end up as far as morale, it should be at the top.
I
Connecticut, the
agree.
fans wise,
I
because we're
agree.
doing something fantastic, and I think it's showing. Period. It's showing.
And Coach Mora, with the way he built up his team, they're a second half team. They're resilient. They have grit. They have toughness. no matter what they're down. They always fight. They always come back. The win against UAB was huge. They scored 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. Huge win. And I think that we'll have a great opportunity at Syracuse. But,
second half team, because last year we would just lose.
We would have given it away. Yeah, we wouldn't have had a chance.
So now we come back and we beat. They'll punch anybody in the face who's on the field, and they don't fold. They don't quit. I love it.
100%. We've been down at halftime so many games, and we've come out and we've ended up winning. So that has been refreshing to see. So again, I'll mention Procyon Partners, wealth management, retirement planning, and employee benefits. Top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of Husky Talk. Pete Finch, the Finch firm. If you ever get arrested, if your rights have been violated, they're in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you're in a pinch, call Finch. And then Bleeding Blue for Good, Mike Burton. The reason we have 7 wins is because he was able to put together a group and raise some NIL money, and we see it paying off. Skylar Bell, Nick Evers, TJ Sheffield, Darrell Robinson, all NIL signees. We just need more people to donate, and we will have a chance to have continued success in football. So that is very, very important with the transfer portal opening in 4 weeks. But Matt Lawrence, my God, this was a refreshing conversation. I enjoyed having you on tremendously. And
man, it's always great to talk to UConn guys.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I heard so much about you, and it's all true. You are a great guy.
Oh, thank you, man.
And I love what you're doing. And I got your number now, and I'll definitely try to set up when Bellamy and I do our next show. We'll try to schedule you on. Because
listen, this platform is amazing, bro. Listen, Steve, this platform is amazing. I'm trying. It's a lot of hard work goes into this, and you're giving the light. You're giving the light
Thank you
from the goodness of your heart, so that other people can see what's out there. And if it wasn't for you, all your followers, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. And you're doing such a great job, and you're thorough. You're following through. You're getting top quality people. I mean, Lord have mercy. I mean, it's a recipe for success, for real.
Well, I want our alumni engagement to be better, and that's my biggest.
Absolutely.
Is, I should know you. I should have met you by now.
Right. And correct.
We haven't had that connection, so I'm trying to bring everyone together. Our alumni group from all eras. And
it's a testament. It's a testament to hard work to Grandma's salami sandwiches. So
you put over my sitto. My sitto is how they say it in Lebanese. My sitto made the best sandwiches. Believe me.
See?
She fed me well. I'm a good 300 pounds still.
Love it, bro. Well, thanks for having me.
I will post this on all social media platforms. All I ask is share it with your people, tag your people, so we can continue to spread the word. And if you have any guests that I can get on from your era, I would love to have them on.
I'll pass the word on.
I'm trying to get as many people as I can. I try to do 4 to 5 shows a week of just Husky Talk. Because it does build that alumni engagement, and I feel it's important. And I definitely wish you all the best. Thank you for your time.
Here's the deal. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm going to add something. We have a guy who we're talking about at the alumni tent. Cornell Brockington, first team All Big East running back.
Yes.
Get Cornell on here. If you get Cornell on here,
I'd love to have Cornell on here.
So if you're listening, Brock, we need you on here. We're donating $200 to the NIL fund.
Do you have a contact for him or no?
That's the deal. Nobody does, but he'll see it. If enough people put it out, he'll see it. You know what I mean? Nobody does. It's been 15 years. People are saying they haven't heard from him. We got to find him. That's the mission right now. We got to find Brock.
We're finding you, Brock. I'm going to track you down. I'm going to track you down.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right. We're going to find Brock. We're going to get him on here. So for Matt Lawrence, 32 Sports, former UConn running back, former NFL player, I am Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. This has been Husky Talk. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take